Hey everyone, and welcome to Stock Talk on October 2nd. Let's talk the stock market for today. This is the S&P 500 SPY on the yearly chart. And today I notified the members yesterday as well on the Discord chat in terms of what we were seeing in the markets. And right now what you guys can see is small caps selling off, and what else is happening? Well, what's really happening is we have the tech sector really keeping us afloat. When that cracks, if and when that cracks, I expect, in my opinion, a major push to the downside, another leg down that is more significant than what you see today. What happened today? Look at the S&P 500. What did we do? Pretty much came up flat, went down just a tad bit. Was it representative of the overall market conditions? And as a matter of fact, I would have to disagree. Today's market, in my opinion, was rather deceptive. If you guys can imagine earlier today, if you were looking at futures, looking at the Dow, look, the Dow closed higher, over 100 points. The NASDAQ pushed a little lower, and then, of course, small caps pushed significantly lower. What does that tell you? Well, it's a mixed bag, but that's on the surface. When you dig deeper, the majority of the stocks in my list are down. And they're not down by 1%, 2%. Some of them are, but a couple of them are over 2%. And that's where we get into that significant level of sell-off. So you guys can imagine right now, here's the S&P 500 flat today. If the S&P 500 starts going down and tech starts selling off just a tad bit, we're going to have, a rather big red candle, as well as more stocks that will be selling off significantly to a similar magnitude as today. And putting things into perspective, right? Moving into the last quarter as we are right now, and thinking about earnings season, which the bulk of the earnings season, right, it's coming up later in the month, some November as well. What is the market wanting to do? Wanting to push it down before earnings, because chances are earnings are going to be mostly positive, as similar to before. Markets are going to push it down. Hence, looking at the levels of the S&P 500, we have a support level, right here. We've talked about this in the past, 289.50. I'm still expecting for us to, at the very least, come down a little more, go down a little more. Can it go higher? It can, but I'm favoring more of a near-term downtrend, long-term uptrend. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so that's the S&P 500 for you guys. And what did volatility do today? Again, a very deceptive factor today. Volatility barely nudged. Overall, it didn't do much at all today. Isn't that interesting? If I gave you, guys, if you take one hand and cover up the left side of your screen, right? The left side of your screen, and cover up the indexes, and you're like, okay, what do you think volatility would have done if you just looked at all those stocks, you're like, man, volatility must have spiked maybe like 5, 10, 20%. No, volatility didn't move. So what is happening? Again, tech didn't sell off. We had the indices holding at the very least, and hence deceptive movement, volatility being pushed even today. So we'll see if that can be maintained. But if the markets do push down, the indices, all the indices start selling off, then at that point, I would expect volatility to increase. But right now, this is what it is right now. And you guys can see a lot of people, unless you were shorting today, had a hard time going long or trading long, and even intraday. So it was a little more difficult than the usual day. So just wanted to give you guys that perspective. Let's take a look at commodities. That is 4/CL. Crude oil futures. Where did we hit, guys? 75.91. That was the high today. Remember, my high target is around 76.40, okay? Doesn't have to hit it by the penny. okay? It doesn't even have to hit it by the dollar in this case. Why? It's because this resistance line stretches all the way back in the 20-year resistance, okay? So this is a long term. So the range is around $76, possibly even higher to $78, $79, right? Those are the resistance areas. Will we get up there? In my opinion, I think we will get at the very least to $76. You're like, well, Kevin, we're very close to, what does that mean? We're so close to, yeah, but we've been touting about crude oil, right? Since all the way down here, and the potential for it to go up here if it were to make new highs, right? So right now, here's the resistance. Looking for a short opportunity, but right now, you, in my opinion, can't really short crude oil. This is the first time through it, right? We would expect, in my opinion, weeks or months on end in terms of testing that area before it comes down. Similar to AMD. Remember AMD, guys, who we've talked about, who? I guess stocks are now a person, but which we've talked about in the past in terms of AMD, in terms of a 20-year resistance, right? Here we go. It's coming back to us. There's crude oil, similar thing. So right now, you know, we're nearing all-time highs. I believe we made a 4-year high, and so it continues, right? It's /CL. /NG, Nat gas. Guys, here once again lies the fact in the beauty of accurate technical analysis. Here's natural gas, right? I drew in this resistance line when? Quite a while ago, right? No, definitely not today or yesterday. A couple of weeks back. And I said that 3.166 is the resistance. Where did we land ourselves on? 3.164. I'm 0.002 off. That's interesting, right? Why did we stop there? Why didn't we close higher than that? Because that's a resistance level, obviously. So, anyhow, now we're at the resistance level. Are we going to break through it? That's the next question. If we break through it, we have quite a large gap to fill, right? Are we going to get through it the first time around? That's going to be, at the moment, uncertain. You can't say that it's going to go over resistance just like that. It could, but it doesn't have to, because this is a pretty significant resistance level. So am I going to short nat gas? Probably not. Am I going to go nat gas? Probably not, right? We're at this area. This was the easy part, right? Once we saw the consolidation pattern. Now this is the hard part. That can catch you off guard, and therefore I like to play easier parts, not the harder parts, because harder parts I have a less probability of winning or gaining a profit. So that's /NG for you guys. And once again, you guys know what to do on the video. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you're learning from it. And what can I say? If you like looking at charts like I do, and guys, one of my passions, as you guys know, is really reading charts and doing it as accurately as possible. And then on the side, I look at the fundamentals of the company and really like the leadership and the structure of the company. But I really love looking at technicals as well. This is something I can present to you guys. And therefore, I'm showing you guys, these charts. And when they obey, I'm excited about it, in my opinion. I'm excited about, drawing these specific trends because they gravitate towards those areas. All right. Oh, guys. Once again, if you guys enjoy, if you guys are learning from these, you can learn so much more on how I draw these trend lines, how I identify patterns in the course. So be sure to check it out in the link. It's in the description box down below, a course that I teach. /GC, gold futures. Here we go again. Gold futures went up over 1% today, right? I told you guys that, I was favoring just a little bit of just consolidation in this area, right? We're in the general vicinity. Is gold tradable? Well, you guys know the argument. If you're returning and rewatching this video again, you guys know that I'm looking for a definitive close of, repeat after me, 12.11 to 12.12 at the very bare minimum. Right? Did we close above that level? No. And hence, yes, it went higher. We can take a look at JNUG quickly right now. JNUG, which follows gold, did go higher, over 7%. But was I going to be a willing participant just because I saw those two candles? And the answer was probably not. The risk was a little greater than me than the reward, and hence I'm not, not likely to take that stance. One thing that was interesting was, guys, 4/SI or silver futures. This is something I don't usually bring up, but I think I brought it up yesterday when we saw that down move, and you guys asked me, Kevin, can you take a look at silver? I said, hey, silver looks good. There's really nothing too much wrong with this chart. We're at a pretty good position right now. Look at 4/SI going higher today, right? It's playing out as we expected, and the one that you're interested in would have to be USLV, which was following silver. So at the very least, if you for example, if I went into a USLV position at the end of the day yesterday, and it just closed my eyes, right, and it didn't do anything until today, I would have gained over 3% today, 3.5%, over 3.5%. That's still a pretty good chunk. If you guys can imagine, when the rest of the market's tanking, silver is moving higher. Isn't that surprising, right? Or interesting how you can still possibly make money when the market's going down. All right, let's take a look at your tickers. Thank you everyone for submitting, and we'll take a look starting at VRS. Analysis on VRS, and you think your entry is at 3085. So 3085, yeah, pretty good. 3085, I think that's a good value to look at. But once again, we are overextended on the near term. I think you can identify that. Were you the person who said NEPT as well? Maybe you are, but yeah, this is another one where it's going higher. I like the overall trend, and it's not too bad, right? It's not too bad, but we could certainly wait for it to hit around the 20 period moving average. It might be situated around $31, but if you can, your price 30.85 is pretty close to 31. Yeah, that's perfect. So I like this one. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's not too bad, but make sure this one is going up rather in a dramatic fashion. So just be careful. You have to set a stop loss on this one, right? And yeah, like that trend. Eric, hey man, I need your insight. Do you know if High Times crowd-funded IPO is a scam? So I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that company. But if they have a ticker, I'll be happy to look at it. So please submit your ticker. I'm not familiar with that specific company, so I don't want to feed you wrong information or false information. But yeah, I'll certainly try to keep these videos coming for you guys. Yeah, let me know if you have a ticker for me, what that ticker is. Coming IPO. Yeah, things can be volatile when they're IPO, you guys can imagine. So yeah, thank you for your comment, and I love new faces. I think you're a new face around here. Tango, love watching my videos. You're welcome. And BX ticker, Blackstone Group. Right, so for Blackstone, you guys can see that, this ascending, it's not bad, right? Higher highs. This is a very predictable pattern, but what can you see? Well, right now, what you guys can see is we're overextended, right? We're overextended, and we need to come down at the very least of the 20 period moving average around 36.21, right? This one needs to come down a little bit. And we're in the realm of uncharted territory in the last year, right? This is uncharted territory, and there's more downside to come. So if I just gave you guys just a random, I'm going to give you guys a random line. Okay, this is not a technical line or anything. I'm just going to give you a random line, something like that looks like this, that slanted higher, and then I'm just going to move this line around. I'm going to ask you, below this line, at some point below this line, you're probably in a good deal, right? Somewhere above that line, probably not in a bad deal. And that's just how it is. Just taking a look at that trend. That's not an accurate trend line, but that's something for you to visualize. Okay, all right, we got a lot of comments here. So we'll take a look at a couple more, and then we'll call it a day. AGEN, AGEN. This one was called out by 53I5 about a potential for breakout. So welcome to the channel, and thank you for watching this video. So here we're looking at the 3-year chart, and what are we seeing, right? We're seeing a pretty definitive downtrend. You guys can see, apparently I drew this in quite a while ago, and once it starts breaking down, look how significantly it broke down afterwards, right? So this one, what's happening so far this week? A rejection at the 20-period moving average. What is the likely scenario or trajectory in which it will go? Well, the obvious trajectory is down. Then it's likely to push lower, right? It's likely to push lower until, at the very bare minimum, we can close over the 20-period moving average. Until that occurs, this one is really not that interesting to me in terms of a long position. In terms of a short position, you might have something to trade off of, and therefore, that's something that you might be interested in. Thank you for your comment. All right, and then let's take a look at... Here's the last one I'll take a look at, and the rest I'll tackle if I have time in next Stock Talk. So thank you guys for your patience. We just have a lot to get through. Here's Momo. Momo. Wait, who's the person who usually calls out Momo? I remember there was one person. Someone jogged my memory. There used to be a viewer who always called out Momo, and I would do this one almost every day. And then other people started calling out Momo because they just thought this was interesting. So, all right. So we're gonna tackle this one, and thanks Luis for your comment, and everyone for your comment. Ben, Luis, Mario, Addyboy, McCombs, Eric, thank you everyone, and let's keep it coming. Momo from McCombs, resistance is at 4709, right? You guys can see how, once again, we hit resistance, we're coming on down. Now this one, I think I know what you're seeing. If you're looking at something like this, I wouldn't blame you, right? This is a okay trend line. It's not the very best, but there it is, right? And you guys can see that the support near term is 41.39, but you have to realize that this is a wedge pattern that is likely to break towards some direction. Right now, the momentum is toward the bottom. Do we have a sign of reversal? No, right? No. So at the very least, I would give it a couple of days and see the reaction at that specific level. If it starts breaking down, we have more support levels, one of which is at 34.54 if we get down there. But since it's actively declining in the near term, I'm a watcher, but not a participator. Okay. And with that, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Be sure to check out the course if you haven't already, if you're interested in it, because I teach all these concepts and more in terms of how to really start risk management and, making controlled, disciplined, patient trades. All right. See you guys tomorrow, and happy trading.